What happens if coronavirus spreads through Silicon Valley, San Francisco, Seattle, Los Angeles, at the level of Wuhan, where the cities are shut down and incinerators are brought in, crematoriums are running 24/7, big clouds of sulfur dioxide are floating above the cities from the human bodies being burned. What happens to the social media giants if their cities are overtaken by a virus on the scale of Wuhan? Don't rule this out.
Yeah, they won't have time to censor. They'll be self-quarantining or being forced quarantined. They'll be too sick to censor.
Well, the virus may deplatform YouTube.
Their employees themselves, the very infrastructure of these companies, may fall apart within weeks.
I'm not ruling it out. I mean, we still don't know the scale, the scope of what happened in Wuhan. China is trying to make us think that it's over, everything's back to normal. No, they're just back to normal controlling the news. That's all they're doing. We have no idea what's going on in Wuhan right now. So we do have, in the Amazon headquarters, we do have a confirmed case. And again, we don't know how many people were also affected by that employee. How long did that employee, how long was that person contagious without symptoms working in the Amazon headquarters? Okay, wait till you see this next one. This is KOMO News. King County picks White Center site for quarantine site. Well, if you were going to bring in temporary prefab buildings, like they use for schools, and they need quick offices and things like that. So you bring in prefab buildings to house sick coronavirus people. Where would you put up a bunch of prefab buildings? Would you take it over to the neighborhood where Bill Gates has his mansion? Would you take it to where the Amazon executives live? No, you take it to a poor black neighborhood.
Which is exactly what they did.
I'm not kidding you, folks. I'm not kidding you. Watch this. This is a video. This is a news report from the TV station in Seattle. The neighbors, the residents of this neighborhood, they got up one day and they found out, hey, these buildings out here next to our house, it's a quarantine center. Watch this video.
People are voicing concern after King County started setting up a temporary quarantine village for people with coronavirus in White Center. Now, we were there when the first trailer was moved into a lot on Southwest 112th Street today. KOMO's Tammy Mutasa is live at the site, where neighbors say they were not warned about this plan. Tammy?
Yeah, Mary, a lot of people told me they had no clue this was happening, and they think it's really unfair that this quarantine trailer was moved into their neighborhood, right in the middle of the neighborhood, without them knowing, and more of these trailers are expected at this very site.
I was watching the news. I said, this is right across the street.
17 years living in this neighborhood, Marsha Robbins didn't see this coming. A trailer moving in across the street to house people who need to be isolated and recover from coronavirus. Air Force shows just how close the site is to apartments.
That's some scary stuff for me. And I'm a health freak, and I'm 68 years old.
Up to 8 trailers will be on the lot after a building is demolished first. But officials say initially they won't be hooked up to water or sewer. Sharon says White Center already has enough to worry about.
We got to pray on it every day just to live in White Center, period.
But she understands people need a place to go as part of King County's emergency response for a public health emergency.
It's sad that this is happening to people, and just got to take one day at a time and hope for the best.
Officials say they're working to find other sites and phase in the trailers.
King County is working as quickly as we can to respond to the COVID situation.
Neighbors are wondering how the sites are being selected.
I know they say sanitize, wash your hand real good. This is close to home. So, yes, I have a concern about it.
Oh boy.
So if they set up a mobile home next to your house in your neighborhood, Rick or Edward, what would your response be? Would it be the same as Sheila's there? Would you respond the same way?
Well, I'd be shocked, Doug. I mean, first of all, it looks to me like, hey, we got some eugenics working here. We're going to take sick people with a deadly virus, and we're going to put them in prefab trailers, and we're going to park it in a low-income neighborhood populated by Black Americans, and there's not going to be any running water. There's no electricity in these places, and we know that the virus is transmitted through urine and feces. Where are these people going to go to the bathroom? All right, Doc, we have 10 acres here on this property.
Right.
What would the county do to me if I brought in prefab buildings, started using them, and they were not hooked up to electricity and water and sewage?
The code enforcement officer would be over here before the sun went down. I mean, that would be the response.
But the city and the county can do it, and they can put infected people in that neighborhood, and they don't care.
It's government-sanctioned germ gentrification. I mean, how is this a response? This is a poor neighborhood. They're going to be going to the bathroom in the street. They're going to go to the bathroom across the street.
Put it over there next to Bill Gates' mansion.
Oh, that's too rich. That's too rich for it. I mean, they literally picked the poorest neighborhood to put this into.
Oh, man.
And Rick, here's what frustrates me even more. The state of Washington is 90% undeveloped.
Yes.
It's trees, it's forests.
I know.
It's woods. There's no place, an isolated place, to take coronavirus, people who are sick with coronavirus. There's no place outside of Seattle. There's no place out there, no open space at all.
Sponsored this.
There's no old summer camp, old resort away from everything. No, let's buy a bunch of used. And did you see the trailers too? Did you see the modular trailers? They were just cobbled together. I mean, they must have got a great deal on them at Bob's Used Modular Buildings or something, because they looked awful.
Doc, look, FEMA has hundreds of new trailers for sale.
They got coffins too.
That they've used, in other disasters. You can go to government surplus websites and see, fairly new mobile homes that are for sale from FEMA. Once again, two options: incredibly stupid or deliberately evil. Which one is it?
And it's for the government to prove us wrong on this. Are you telling me that you're so incompetent at the planning, at the leadership level, that you picked a neighborhood instead of a forested area, somewhere away from the city? I mean, all the stories we've covered here tonight, it's either evil or ineptitude.
Those mobile homes wouldn't pass
Code inspection.
Code inspection. And they're going to put sick people in there.
Right.
In a neighborhood with children.